Welcome to another SourceFuse Talking Out Cloud, our leadership chat series. And in today's chat, we're focusing on the topic of automation and how it is revolutionizing cloud migration and modernization, something that fuels our passion here at SourceFuse. My name is Liz Grint, Marketing Manager at SourceFuse. And in case you didn't know, SourceFuse just celebrated its 18th company anniversary. So we have a depth of cloud expertise and a strong reputation for being a strategic digital transformation company that's helping businesses evolve through cloud native technologies. And in fact, we just recently won the AWS Windows Modernization Launch Champions for the third consecutive year. So as an advanced consulting partner, I have the great pleasure of being joined today by a guest from AWS, and that is Amit Kumar, Senior Solutions Architect from AWS. Welcome, Amit.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ali, for having me.
Great stuff. So, Amit, I'd love to start by asking you to briefly describe to our audience your background and experience, especially in relation to large cloud migrations and modernizations.
Great. I think, I'm super excited of this episode. And, it all started back in 2009, where I have started my career from the data center projects, where I started learning the technology from basics, how server works, how storage works. And like building and managing the data center was a couple of my first projects. Also gets my hands dirty with various virtualization project, and at that point of time we were calling it as a P2V, which was a physical to virtual. That was a one of the state of art people were doing when they are converting their whole physical machines, physical servers and storages to the virtual servers and storage. Now over 16 years of experience in modernizing the technologies and the migrations is something which is my key projects overall. And in those technology and those projects that I've been very passionate about was the automation. So I have had an opportunity of working with extensively with cloud projects, participating in very large scale cloud migrations and modernization. And currently, as a solution architect at AWS, I work very closely with the enterprise customers and partners to help them leverage AWS services and solutions to accelerate their digital transformation journey. I've had seen many projects, like dozens of migration and modernization projects. This include leveraging automation capabilities in those large migrations projects. Where one project that reminds me is a very large financial organizations in US, where they were migrating lift and shift from the existing on-prem data centers to the AWS. And at that point of time, we were having a lot of gaps in terms of assessments and trying to give the better experience to the customer. And then we have introduced a lot of automation tools, includes the migrations, MGN, CFN, CDKs. And if the folks are not okay with the acronyms, then the cloud formation templates, the SDK software development kits, the cloud development kits, and the system manager to automate almost every single aspect of that migrations. When it comes to the modernizations, the one project that reminds me a very large airline customer. That customer was trying to modernize their application, which was their baggage handling system. And we helped them to migrate into the overall legacy applications into the container-based applications, and help them to migrate from the legacy systems to the Amazon EKS servers, which is as a Kubernetes system. And this also enables them to develop a lot of informations at the back, including the CI/CD, using the code star, code deploy, and all those things. The one thing is common in all those projects was when it comes to a successful project that we have to think upon on a couple of things. One was the efficiency, which we should have it during the during those migration process. And another one was the scalability, that if we were able to use a lot of automation tools and automate almost everything in those environment, we would have been scale better and work collaboratively with the different teams and to ensure the successful outcomes.
And knowing that you have this passion for automation, how is it that automation plays a role in the large migrations and modernization projects?
Sure, I think automations plays a very crucial role in large scale cloud migrations. In fact, in the modernization projects as well, and I'll touch upon a little bit later. But just to let you know what is the importance of the automation is, like I just mentioned a few minutes back, was streamline their processes. It's not just picking up the system from one system to another system. It is about increasing the efficiency. It is about reducing the risk of errors during those migrations. And many migration fails when these three things are not considered in the planning phase. With my passion of automation, I have witnessed firsthand the transformation impact it can have on the complex undertakings. Now, one of the key benefits of automation in cloud migration is the ability to consistently and reliably migrate workloads at scale. This is very important because the manual migration can be time consuming, the error prone, and often require a lot of significant efforts in terms of documentation and coordinations with the multiple teams. By leveraging automation tools like Migrations Hub, CloudFormation, the CDK, and the AWS System Manager, organization can streamline all these problems they were having in the manual migrations. And this can be possible with the discovery and assessment to actual workload migrations and validations to the from the solution architects for those example. I'll take example of AWS Migration Hub. This service from AWS allows you to automate the entire migration life cycles, including the discovery and analysis of on-premises workloads, right-sizing it, and provisioning of the target cloud infrastructure and the resources, which help you to seamless migrate your workload from X to the AWS cloud. This not only significantly reduce the time, this and also reduce the efforts required in this overall space, plus the manual error which may occur in the manual migrations, which ultimately minimizing the risk of human errors. Similarly, the automation in modernization space is also very crucial, which which enables a lot of doors to the customers where they are struggling at on-prem or struggling in their legacy system by leveraging tools like cloud tools like CI/CD pipelines, code commit, code build, code pipeline, Elastic Beanstalk, Elastic Container Registry, CodeStar. These are the important one for modernize your applications when you have to do a lot of deployment almost every week or probably almost every day. Infrastructure as a code is again plays a very vital role in the applications where the application is containerized. Now you don't need to really worry about where your workloads are going to be run because you are running your workload on a container behind. Maybe it could be a Kubernetes or it could be an AWS ECS services, and that it could be anything else also. So organizations don't really need to take care of about the underlying infrastructure. They can go and focus on their applications life cycles, which includes the CI/CD pipeline. So automation through CI/CD pipeline is definitely a game changer in the large cloud modernization projects. Ultimately, that accelerate the digital transformation for any customers that is trying to modernize their application.
Brilliant. And I think with, emerging new tech, I think we can all agree that Gen AI is a really hot topic right now. And in fact, SourceFuse has several Gen AI use cases as well. So when it comes to automation, again, how do customers further benefit by implementing some Gen AI capabilities?
Thank you, Liz, for this question. And no calls and meetings and episodes goes without generative AI. And generative AI is indeed a rapidly evolving and highly promising technologies that has potential to further enhance the automation capabilities in the cloud migrations and modernization projects. While the impact of GenAI on automations may be more apparent in the long term, but there are already some interesting use cases that we have seen in the customer space. and possibilities that customer can explore and benefit from. In the context of cloud migration, GenAI could potentially be leveraged to automate the various tasks on the processes that we traditionally require a manual efforts and extensive domain expertise. For instance, like GenAI models can be trained to analyze and assess existing on-premises workloads, application, and infrastructure, and providing the recommendations on more suitable migration strategies, target cloud environments, and the resource configurations. And additionally, GenAI can be used to generate migration plans and documentation, and even the code or configuration script that is necessary for the migration process. This could significantly reduce the time and the efforts required for migrations planning and execution, while also ensuring the consistency and adherence to the best practices that customers can follow. Um, in case of modernization space, I feel that the GenAI could also automate the code refactoring and transforming and the generating the task that is required in terms of refactoring the code, in terms of refactoring the versions of the code, which is important during the modernization space. GenAI model could be used and trained to analyze the legacy and monolithic applications and automatically identify the suitable candidates for microservices decompositions or generating the necessary code at the back and configuration of the modernized microservices based architecture. And I have a good news for our audience that in the last week that we have launched Amazon Q for developers, which can bring up a significant improvement in refactoring the application code to the newer version or converting the entire code uh, with the help of the Amazon Q for developer. Excuse me. Amazon Q for developer is also a great code companion which can includes when the developers is writing a code, it can be a companion and suggesting the next line of a code during that code writing process. And in fact, when the developer has finished their coding and they want to execute this as a Lambda function, and if they found any exceptions or errors during that process, they would also be able to get the suggestions that how they can solve those exceptions and errors during those executions. With the full impact of the GenAI on automation in cloud migration and modernization may not be immediately apparent, it is a promising area that customers should keep an eye on by embracing GenAI and combining it with the existing automation tool and platform. Organization can potentially unlock a new use cases, a new level of efficiencies, the new level of scalability of the processes and the innovation in the digital transformation journey.
That's really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to finding out more about Amazon Q.
Yeah.
So, Amit, you mentioned earlier you work with so many different advanced consulting partners like ourselves, and in your role as senior solution architect, what strategy do you typically use that supports AWS partner success? Ultimately, how do customers benefit from this joint partnership?
So, thank you for putting this question. This is one of my favorite topic where I explain how do I help my customers and partners to nurture on the technologies. So, as a solution architect at AWS, I work very closely with the AWS partners, which is very crucial part of my role. And I also believe that fostering strong partnership and collaboration is essential for delivering successful and meaningful cloud solution to our customer. To support AWS partners' success, I typically employ on a three-pronged strategy. One is connecting with partners with an opportunity and accounts. So, most of my time and most of my key responsibilities is to identify and connect the AWS partners with the relevant customer opportunities that align with their expertise and capabilities. This involves maintaining close relationship with both the customers and partners, and when I understand the customer requirement, then map the customer back to those strengths and the capabilities that partner is carrying. And of course, the facilitating the introductions and engagement that can lead to a successful outcomes for our customers. Second is the facilitating between the large migrations and modernization engagements between the partners and customers. We do have some programs at the back and initiative at the back that helps customers to streamline and accelerate their cloud migration journeys, and migration acceleration program is one of them. I work very closely with the AWS partners to ensure their migration engagements are properly scoped. Their solution architecture is very well defined and in line with the customer requirements. And I also have an ability to pull back the specialist also in the mix, so that specialist can also work for a specific, let's say in case of an IoT use case is there, or is there any ML use cases. So I bring up those specialists into those opportunities in those migration process, so that the customer will get a best experience out of it. And finally, the third is the promoting AWS practices to the partners is one of also my key role. To this is to ensure the successful outcomes at partner end. It is very critical at AWS that we follow the AWS best practices in all the solutions that we are offering for our customer, whether it's coming from partners or it's an existing solutions at AWS. I emphasize the importance of following the AWS well-architected framework principles. This is very important when I am reviewing any solutions which is coming from partner to our customers. I follow the well-architected framework policies, including the frugality. That is also one of the well-architected framework. And I also ensure that the solution leverage the AWS native services and tools, aligning the AWS security, compliances, and the best practices this framework and policy says. I provide regular conversation with the partners, and trying to mentor them to stay them up to date and align with the AWS new technologies that we are almost every week we are releasing new features for all those services. By implementing these three strategy in at my work, I aim to create a win-win situations for AWS, for partners, and ultimately for our customers.
That's great, Amit. Thanks for sort of summarizing that so well. I mean, we definitely share your passion for automation at SourceFuse, and we follow the AWS best practices. In our modernization approach, we're all about eliminating those repetitive, time-consuming, labor-intensive processes. So, I'd love to know actually, what has your experience been like working with SourceFuse as a partner?
Sure. I'm sure, and I'm really glad that partners like you are leveraging automation. So thank you for doing this. This is important, and working with SourceFuse was as partner has been incredibly positive and rewarding experience for me. As you mentioned, that passion of the automations and cloud native modernization aligns perfectly with my own beliefs and the values that we uphold at AWS. One of the aspects that I truly appreciate about you is that your deep expertise and commitment leveraging the automations to drive the efficiencies and accelerate the cloud modernization projects that you are already working on, or the initiatives that you have. I recall a project that we have collaborated on one of the large retail customers in the past, where you played a pivotal role in modernizing their the applications and workload platform, where your approach was automating significant portion of that application through the modernization processes, and including you have done some code refactoring also, and finally you have containerized those applications. What impressed me the most was the SourceFuse Arc Accelerator. This was one of the solutions that I really liked about it, and I appreciated. And the audience, if you are not aware, please reach out to SourceFuse to know about the Arc Accelerator, which helps the accelerating workload time to market with pre-build, and there's a catalog of pre-built microservices. which you can pick and choose, and then have a common microservices already deployed in your system, which help you to minimize very time to market and go to market time. This also enhance the customer experience in modernizing their legacy applications, where they can have a minimal disruption and reduce their overall cloud spend also, because that is something which you are moving away from a normal full servers to the containers and to the microservices. And correct me if I'm wrong, that it also can integrate with customer CI/CD processes to automate those pipelines. So overall, my experience with SourceFuse has been exceptional. Your passion of automations, cloud native modernization, and adherence to the AWS best practices, combined with their the collaborative and commitment to the customer success. This is really a good experience for me as a partner where you are driving the digital transformation for our customers. I really appreciate that.
Well, that's really nice words. Thank you so much, Amit. I have one last question for you. When we think about automation and then the cloud tech landscape, in your opinion, what do you think the future holds for these large migrations and modernizations?
I think this is one of the difficult one that you are asking me to look into the future and then suggest the audience how we can think about the future, how the future migration and modernization look like. So, well, I believe we will see several exciting trends in and developments that will shape the overall landscape in the coming years. In my opinion, some of the key areas we should watch out for the new technologies includes one is the increased adoption of AI and machine learning for intelligent automations. Like I mentioned previously, that GenAI is going to enhance the current automations tools and processes that we know today. GenAI is definitely going to increase that experience. Second is the expansion of low code and no code platforms, which is also important where, like I have explained about Code Whisperer, I explained about Amazon Q for developers. Now, writing a code is a cakewalk, right? So you have the logic, you are trying to write a code. The GenAI solutions like Amazon Q for developers automatically suggest you the next line of code. So low code, no code platform is definitely going to be shining, and it is definitely going to help the modernization space specifically, not the migration more, but modernization space, it will enhance the customer experience. So when customer has think of the modernizing their applications, they can rely on these such a futuristic technologies and futuristic services where their codes can be upgraded and can be rewrite with less number of efforts. The third important one is the enhance the autonomous in the cloud operations. So it's not just about moving the workload onto the cloud and leave it for with the legacy process. It is also equally important to improve your cloud operations also, which can be result in saving a lot of money. And we have seen so many customers has adopted this way, and they were able to save a lot of optimize their cost on AWS. Um, it includes the AI and ML for their cloud operations when they have to do a day-to-day. One of this reminds me one of my projects, and I could say like a fancy demo that I have done. So I was able to integrate a couple of CDK at the back, where from the Slack I was just saying that I need a EC2 instance with this configuration, and when the moment I press enter, it spin my EC2 instance. Though it was very kind of a fancy demo that I have built up, but this could be in future also where machine learning models are more mature to integrate with your chat systems, where you can perform the operations just by the natural language. The fourth one is the increase the focus on sustainability and green computing. That is also important when when the customers will be thinking about choosing a right cloud platform, they will be thinking about the green computing and sustainability from that standpoint, and how automations can play a vital role in those optimizing resource, utilizations, minimizing the energy consumption. One of the fine example is choosing a right CPU architecture. The Graviton can save a lot of power at the back when you have to compute, when you have to use the compute power. So this could be one of example, and the examples goes and goes. The fifth is important when I discussed about the evolution of the cloud native technologies. The cloud native ecosystem, including technologies like containers, Kubernetes, serverless computing, service meshes, will continue to be evolve and mature in future. Automation will be essential in managing these increased complexity of these environments, because right now we see thousands of virtual machine. Tomorrow we're gonna see millions of containers for a large organization. So it's really important that we build an automation today and leverage the futuristic technologies to having a seamless deployment, scaling, and management of those cloud native applications. The sixth important and the last one in my mind is the having a security and compliance automation also. The era is almost arrived when we also have to think about automated security compliances. For example, having a security posture management, so where you have defined your security posture, which is validated and which is configured by with the best practices. And if somebody in the organization, or as an engineer, or as an operator, they change something in between, it automatically generates some alarms and corrected itself. For example, like you have open a port, which is your organization policy doesn't allow it, it alarm, and it also automatically block that, which is also possible today, but there will be a lot more enhancement, and which could be, uh, you know, uh, could be a crucial role in ensuring the consistent application security policies and your infrastructure policies, including the vulnerabilities and maintaining the compliances across the cloud environment. So while these are just a few potential trends and deployments in my mind, and one thing is certain, that automation will remain be the central pillar in enabling, the efficient and scalable and secure cloud migration and modernization initiatives. And as a technology continue to advance, organizations that embrace automation and stay ahead of the curve will be the best positioned to capitalize on the opportunities presented by ever evolving cloud landscape.
Well, thanks, Amit. I mean, you said it was a tough question to answer, but you gave us 6 really fascinating insights there. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Goodbye, and thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thanks as well to our audience for watching. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like the video, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Join us again soon when we'll be back with another SourceFuse Talking Out Cloud.